Hey there, and good day, everybody. Hi, I'm Steve Farrell. I'm a co-founder and executive director of Humanities Team. I'm coming to you live from our studio here in Boulder, Colorado. And you can see I'm here with my esteemed guest, Deborah Rozman. I'm going to introduce her properly in a moment, but Deborah, thanks for being here with me.
Thank you, Steve. I'm delighted to join you here.
Okay, and Deborah is coming in from the HeartMath Institute, which is down in Boulder Creek, California. I'm in Boulder, Colorado, so you can tell we're in good resonance here. There's these Boulder places are coming in live to you. So I want to shout out to all of HeartMath Institute, HeartMath, just all of our friends that are part of the HeartMath world all over the world. Humanities Team friends, Humanities Stream Plus members that are here in the studio. We can actually see them in the green room here with us. Also, friends that are part of the Sign Network. So, and John Raymer. And if you go to sign.network, you can read about Sign Network. It's all about collaboration and creating a better world. So big shout out to all of you. Thank you all for joining us. This is a live program. So that means that we get to take questions. So the earlier in the program that you bring us questions and you just put them in the chat and they'll be brought to me, the more likely it is that I can bring your questions or comments to Deborah Rozman here. So our theme here today, as you might guess, where I'm with Deborah Rozman, is activating the global heart. So let me give Deborah a proper introduction here as we get started. Deborah Rozman, president and co-CEO of HeartMath Inc., has over 30 years of experience as a business executive, serial entrepreneur, psychologist, author, and educator. She is co-author with Doc Childre of HeartMath's Transforming series and is a key spokesperson on HeartMath Heart Intelligence, managing stress in these changing times in heart-based living. And again, great to have you with us, Deborah. I know there's a lot going on there at HeartMath down in Boulder Creek, California. So looking forward to just diving in with you here and talking about a lot of important and fun stuff.
Well, I'm delighted to be here. We've always had a great partnership with Humanities Team. We're on the same mission, and it's all about awakening the global heart. We're all headed to that same core center.
Yes, we are. That's right. We are absolutely just all together. And a lot of the research, for what we call conscious living, which is oneness and unity consciousness, and some call it even the new spirituality or 21st century spirituality, comes out of HeartMath. So, and you've seen that, from Greg Braden, from Joe Dispenza, HeartMath itself, a lot of this cutting edge research that talks about our own self heart coherence and global heart coherence comes out of HeartMath. So, and they're training people all over the world. So let's start with maybe what are some of the most exciting things in your research that you might call to our attention as we get started here, Deborah?
Sure. Well, like you said, we've been researching how the heart, brain, spirit connect with the body and the nervous system and consciousness since 1991. When the HeartMath Institute was founded, and a lot of breakthroughs have happened, like seeing how our emotional state is reflected in the beat-to-beat changes of our heart rate, and how with feedback, like heart biofeedback, we can see that in real time and develop scientifically validated techniques to help us shift mood, shift feeling, shift in moments, so we're not just a victim of emotional reactions or emotions that might arise, moods. And that's empowering. So self-empowerment is really the key of what this is all about. And underneath self-empowerment is heart empowerment, the role of the heart. So as we began to research what we call personal coherence, getting heart, brain, emotions, mind, body, all in alignment in heart rhythm coherence, heart rate variability coherence, and training ourselves, we increase our baseline vibration. And that enables us to create more social coherence in our environment, get along better with people, have more non-judgment, more love, more compassion, more ability to replace reactivity with equanimity. And then that accesses more of our higher mental capacities and our intuitive connection with our larger self. So we get these downloads that can help us practically in the day-to-day. We call that practical intuition. So we thought, okay, if that can be done personally, because it starts with the individual, socially in families, schools, workplaces, which we train all over in those environments, what happens globally? And how did the global heart connection be activated? So we started in 2008, the Global Coherence Initiative, to research how our interconnection with Earth's energetic fields, our own heart field environment, and each other, how it all plays together, and whether we could show that there really is interconnectivity that could be published in peer-reviewed science journals, and how we can affect that interconnectivity, how our heart empowerment can raise the planetary vibration. That is the hypothesis, and release stress, make it easier for people who have know anything about HeartMath or humanities team, but to realize all this stress and this increasing chaos going on in society, this increased crazy incoherence we see everywhere. How that's actually a gift, helping millions of people to go more inside and go, there's got to be something else. What else is there? And that's where the heart comes in. When there's no place else to go, we people tend to go to our heart to try to find some answers, whether it's a walk in the forest, a walk by the beach, a long shower, whatever, to try to go inside. And that is the start of empowerment and awakening. And so the research we've done with Global Coherence has been phenomenal. We just had a program last weekend where we shared some of the latest research. And we announced 2 citizen science projects that people can be part of, citizen scientists. But the breakthrough research, I'll say very briefly, because you can read about it at heartmath.org/GCI for the Global Coherence Initiative, is that we had people wearing Holter monitors, heart rhythm, heart rate variability monitors, and EKG in 100 people, in 11 sites throughout the world, where we have magnetic field detectors, magnetometers that are measuring what's happening in the Earth's fields. And people were all non-locally, right, doing what we call a heart lock-in, a heart meditation together, getting into heart coherence at the same time, which to stay in heart coherence requires you radiating love, appreciation, kindness, a quality of the heart, genuinely. So they're all radiating love into the field, or compassion, like to areas that are stressed, and their heart rhythms are getting more coherent. But what was blow away was seeing how their heart rhythm pattern all synchronized all across the planet. And that synchronization, you could see connected with some very slow wave rhythm in the Earth's fields. So it appears like there is a frequency in Earth's fields that helping to synchronize all of us. And as we get into heart rhythm coherence individually and collectively, it's amplified. And then this is interconnectivity with all of us. It's proving interconnectivity. So it's not just a philosophy, and that it starts in the heart. And what happened was there was a carryover effect. Even after they stopped their heart lock-in together, there was more synchronicity that carried over. So the potential of this, if you pause and think about what this means, if we can get whatever that critical mass number of people is to be in the heart and real measurable heart rhythm coherence at the same time, and that synchronizes with a very specific frequency in the Earth's field that amplifies it, there's a potential of really co-creating a significant shift in the vibration of the field. So that was exciting research, and we are launching the Global Consciousness Project 2.0. Roger Nelson did this at Princeton and afterwards with random regenerators, launching the Global Consciousness Project, and he wanted to retire. So he wanted HeartMath Institute to have that and work with us to create the next version. So there'll be 1,000 sensors that citizen scientists can use at their location, one of them, that is like a random number generator. And when we're in compassion together, it loses its randomicity. It enables us to do scientific experiments, all connected to a central server. And so that's very exciting. That was just announced, and you can find that too at the HeartMath.org website, and how trees interconnect and how the electricity of trees are coupled with the planet and how they communicate and whether our emotional states affect that or how they affect us. Because there's 3 trillion trees on this planet. And besides putting out a lot of oxygen, they are putting out a lot of energetic or etheric oxygen for our etheric bodies. And it's really important that we understand their role and our interconnectivity with them. So we have a citizen science project of trees as well. So that's some of the latest. There you have it.
Wow. Yeah, you've got a lot there, and beautiful. Thank you for that update. And there are 2 things I'll go to in here. One is, as you mentioned, and as part of our collaboration, going all the way back to this masterclass called Science of Self-Empowerment, which we'll talk a little bit about later, but is this aspect of that we are always we are always broadcasting out to the collective, always. So whatever's going on, fear, love, compassion, whatever's going on, we're broadcasting out to the collective. So when we talk about conscious living or this global heart coherence, just really, most of us are mindful about what we eat and drink and how we sleep. But boy, our energy is just so hugely important of where are we? This our self-regulation. Where are we? What's going on? And for me, one of the big insights from the early 90s to today was to leave kind of the big lug thing up here, the thinker, and become more the feeler. So where even now, as I'm talking to you, it's coming from more down here of what I'm feeling into, as opposed to up here of what I'm thinking into. And then just really doing that, doing the things that I do that keep me in this self-regulation of just within myself, what I'm feeling, and therefore what I'm broadcasting out. So meditation and prayer, and you brought in trees, nature. This is the second thing I'll go to is, what the scientists share as well is, Nassim and Greg and Joe Dispenza and these others that are doing this pioneering work, largely based on your research, actually, is that the universal intelligence or consciousness or presence, whatever we want to call that, the cosmos, that it's actually in perfect harmony and perfect bliss always. And so when we look out, for example, as I look out at trees, I can get tuned into that. There's what nature outside my window, where I can then stay in that or endeavor, to stay connected with that energy of that perfect harmony, of that bliss, of that peace, of that nurturing, all of these things that we feel when we look at nature or feel into this beautiful cosmos that's in perfect order. And, where we're in a sense, lifting ourselves up so we can remain connected with that perfect order, which is maybe part of what this global heart coherence is.
It absolutely is. How do we do that? And what you said, shifting from here, the thinking mind, to the feeling heart and feeling into, they have expressions that we learn from kids. Put your heart into it, whether you're working in a project, being creative or singing or sports. That's a real energetic impetus. And the more that we shift to the heart and open the heart, the more we have a flow of spirit and intuitive connection. And that heart rhythm coherence frequency is 0.1 hertz when we have you hooked up to our inner balance HRV technology or M-Wave. You can see it yourself. And as you come back to that frequency, that is nature's resonant frequency. That's why when you look at a tree or you feel harmonious, you're in that frequency. So the more we can all practice, we're not going to stay in that all the time, but it's sort of like that should be, or needs to be, it's designed to be our resting state. And then we open the heart and connect with others. And then we use the mind for creativity, for imagination. The heart signals the mind when an intuition comes in, so the brain mind can put it in images or thoughts in our language and ideas that we understand. But the brain mind is this incredible computer, but it is designed to follow the heart's wisdom and guidance from spirit, that direction. That's why what Steve just said, shifting to your heart and feeling into things is truly how we get connected with each other, heart to heart, and with the planet and the universe, so that we can live a life with more harmony. And that's really what all the HeartMath techniques and tools are designed to help you do moment to moment, day to day. And it's not just HeartMath. There's others discovering this, but that is coherence. Heart rhythm coherence is a specific physiological state, and where there's a sine wave-like rhythm, a coherent waveform that happens in your heart rhythm pattern, your heart rate pattern. And we can calibrate our physiology to that more and more, and that gives us a leg up in self-regulation, in empowerment, the whole self-empowered wisdom. We talk about that, and that's what Joe talks about, Joe Dispenza and Greg Braden, because it's based upon the research discoveries of HeartMath. It's discovered how the operating system of humanity works. And so it's not about HeartMath, it's about us awakening to what's going on and how we can activate our heart and help activate the heart of humanity.
Yeah, boy, truly, some have said this is the age of consciousness, growing up, or maybe back in the 90s and 80s, they called it the computer age or the digital age. And now, it seems that we are in this age of consciousness where we're just really starting to get, through like your research and that how this universe really works. So for example, again, growing up, I was never taught in school or for that matter, from anyone that, boy, Steve, you want to pay attention to what your feeling states and what you're broadcasting out, what you're living into, what that vision is that you're living into, and don't, go back and into worry about of the past or worry of the future. These kinds of things are incredibly important, and yet I wasn't taught any of this growing up, and now I so well understand that, boy, taking that time during your day to really feel into this beautiful vision for your family and the world is so incredibly important, because that's what we're going straight at, whatever that vision is. And there's a beautiful vision, which is the universal vision, conversations with God. Of course, Neil Donald Walsh is a co-founder of Humanities Team, and it shares that these highly evolved beings on these other planets, they've learned to do this. They consciousness is foundational to how they live their lives. And so these things that we're talking about, and of course, what happened here, and it's just a state of evolution thing, I'm sure, is we just got seduced by this whole American dream thing, where other things became what was important, and we became drawn, just working like crazy, power, wealth, fame, these kinds of things. But through this consciousness research, you realize these things, what are you looking for? If you're looking for true happiness and equanimity, well-being, health, that we can let these things go. There are other things that are so much more important we can be paying attention to. So, and of course, you all are again providing so much of that research, which is why in Humanities Team we love you all and have enjoyed our collaboration with you all so much.
Well, I look at what's happening in the external world, the acceleration of change and uncertainty and the interconnectivity of the internet and how the global connection. There's so much stress, there's so much uncertainty, there's so much, we call it incoherence, craziness, that it's actually motivating more and more people to go, wait a minute, there's got to be something else. The mind thus far has not solved these problems. What can? And more people are, and religion certainly hasn't either. And more people are digging into going to the heart for the answers and finding a little more inspiration, peace, spirit, inspiration from doing that and going, oh, this has something to do with the heart. We all need to learn to get along. I mean, real basic things that humanity's never really done. But the acceleration is what we call the shift. If there wasn't all this stress, there wouldn't be a shift because there wouldn't be enough kick in the pants to motivate people to do something different. And what's happening is behind the scenes of all the terrible news, there's a huge heart awakening. There's a huge outpouring, like we said, broadcasting, radiation through the heart's electromagnetic energetic field where we pick up each other's vibes. The heart's a receiving station and a transmitting station with every heartbeat. That field can be measured 5 feet away, and I'm sure goes farther. That's all the instruments can do, whereas the brain's field is like 1 inch from the brain. So we're feeling what each other is feeling, whether we're conscious of it or not. That adds to our stress or to our uplift. And so as we become more conscious, like you're saying, that our emotions count, our feelings count. You can't just leave them at the door. They get repressed and you're still putting out worry, fear, stress. They're there. So how do we harness our feelings to work for us? That really is the next phase of human evolution from what I could see. And that's happening. This heart awakening, more people are putting out compassion for the war in Ukraine. All the compassion that went out to first responders during the pandemic, which was a global pause. We all had to go in our caves, whether we liked it or not. We were shut down. That's wild. But all that helped more and more people, not everybody, of course, to say, I need to make some changes in what I value in my life. More heart connection. So if you had a heart meter for the global humanity, you would see there's a whole lot more heart energy being put out. And now it's our collective purpose, mission to help nurture that, elevate it. And science becomes a bottom line. People go, oh, this is real. It's not just a philosophy.
Yeah, boy, it is so true. And even if the world didn't need this, and it does, but as we know, and all of the people here watching are on the conscious journey. So as we know, the fruit of this for ourselves is so unbelievably substantial. We do it anyway, just for ourselves.
Yes.
The beautiful thing is then when we do it for ourselves, these other things kick in, this research where, this natural coming into global heart coherence together, this sense of love, connection that's happening around the planet. And this is how we talk about our Changing Humanity's Future initiative, which is in global heart coherence. They're exactly the same thing. It's where we're just coming into this conscious living or heart coherence, where we're feeling and broadcasting out this loving presence, really, in service. This spirit, we're all emanations, of course, of one. We call it the divine or spirit or God, but we're just as happy with cosmos or universe, whatever term we want to use. It's perfect love, perfect bliss, So let me segue. We do have some incredible clips. Now, I mentioned as we were opening the program that with Deborah Rozman and Howard Martin, so another key executive there at HeartMath, and also Bruce Lipton and also Greg Braden, we created an amazing series with them. It's still a really powerful series. So there's a free program called Awakening Your Power, which then leads into a 24-module masterclass. It's called The Science of Self-Empowerment. So we're going to go to some clips here. We'll go to clip 1 first and take a look at it. It's about 2 minutes, and then it will come back. Deborah and I are going to talk about it. So we're going to just take you into some of the collaboration, this incredible education that we've created here, working alongside Deborah, Howard, Bruce, and Greg. So here we go.
So some of the basis
of building social or team coherence is understanding that our heart's electromagnetic field, in fact, the magnetic field power of the heart is 100 times more than the brain. So whatever we're feeling, that radio wave is going out and impacting every cell in our body and other people. Now, as we start to remember that and become more conscious to shift back to the heart, and when we feel impatient, just focus on the heart and breathe the opposite frequency. Find a simple attitude of more patience and breathe that through your heart rhythm. Breathe that in that rhythmic pattern, and that'll help lift your vibration and actually create the mood shift to really feeling more patient. And when you really feel more patient, the heart signals the brain, and you actually see that impatience isn't going to help, or you see a new solution that if you hadn't become more patient, you wouldn't have had that insight. So it becomes a whole new self-regulation process, a whole new process of interacting with ourselves that most of us were never taught, but science is now indicating this is how the human physiology works. This is how we can take charge of our emotions. This is how we can put out a more coherent energetic field into the environment and help improve the quality of energetic resonance, communication, interconnectivity.
Okay, beautiful. So as we're going to get to that, there's a lot there that we can talk about. But again, so Awakening Your Power, it's a free program. And this is Greg, Bruce, Deborah, and Howard. So on the Humanities Team site, Awakening Your Power. And then this clip is part of the masterclass, 24-module masterclass called Science of Self-Empowerment. It's on the Humanities Stream Plus platform. We could see that logo. You go to humanitiesstream.net to get to the streaming platform. It's a true revolutionary streaming platform. And Deborah has, I checked, because there's you can actually do a scan to see how many programs these leaders have. Deborah, as of today, has 22 programs on the Humanities Stream platform. And I'll just say it's also really economical. We're a 501c3 nonprofit, so its annual price and its monthly price are incredibly economical in the industry, and we're a nonprofit, so we have a one-for-one program. So when people subscribe to the platform, they gift a free subscription to an underserved, underprivileged person out in the world. So that's kind of neat. You're actually a bringer of the light, so to speak, when you are part of that platform. So even as you're enjoying all of the video trainings and live programs, this live program, there are people, Humanities Stream Plus members here with us that are in the green room that are part of this program. So Deborah, you got into, that's getting down into even like daily practice, and you were explaining kind of what's happening here within, and then the broadcasting out, where we're linking to the collective. I mean, there was some really nice wisdom there, wasn't there?
Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't get old when I listen to that. We recorded it, I don't know how many years ago, but it's the same message, because we all need to take it to heart. No pun intended. So, it's so often, and all of us, we're on a dense planet here, in this dimension. And so it's so easy to adapt or fade. And that's okay. It's nothing to blame or judge. It's not bad. But self-empowerment is about learning to reactivate, to empower, so that when we wake up and realize, wow, I've just been processing that worry for the last half hour. What am I going to do? Am I going to put that out into my cells in my body and affect my health? Am I going to put that out in the field and lower my vibration and put out these worry vibes to my family? Or am I going to say, wait a minute, there is another path. Shift back to the heart, breathe through the heart area, replace that impatient frequency with what would patience feel like in this moment, and use your imagination or recall that feeling and breathe that through the heart area. And if we had you hooked up in the lab, your whole heart rhythm, autonomic nervous system, immune response, hormonal response would change. 1,400 biochemicals are released every time we have a reaction. And we want those to be healthy biochemicals for our body. So this sense of personal responsibility, taking energetic responsibility for what we're feeding the field, as we call it here at HeartMath, is of prime importance. And we do teach this to children. We have programs for preschool all the way through college, because it is so important that the younger generation learn what we didn't in school, that it counts. How you feel isn't your power source, and how you direct your feelings in a healthy way is going to determine your happiness and your actual higher mind capabilities.
Boy, it is so true. We've been talking about this back and forth a few times, because it
Yeah.
is so unbelievably important when as I think about media like the Good Morning Show. I don't watch these shows, but they're, as we know, all the networks broadcast their morning shows and things. Gosh, this is the kind of thing, that should be a part of these morning shows, where we're just doing these energetic kinds of things and talking about things like what you talk about, and even some of the tools that you have, so that this whole notion of just really staying in balance, of really paying close attention to how we're feeling energetically and what we're broadcasting out energetically, is just front and center, because we're driving straight into that, whatever the heck is going on. That's our day. We are going straight into whatever it is that we're feeling. And boy, why not go straight into something really beautiful, a heart coherence, and global heart coherence, even better. Yeah, let me bring in a question here. This is from Mark. He says, how has Dan Siegel's work interconnected me and we, as the integration of self, identity, and belonging influenced your own progress in developing understanding of the global heart? And has the work of Jude Currivan on the emergence of universal consciousness helped you? So that's a question from Mark.
Well, Dan Siegel's a good friend, and he's done a lot of speaking on mindfulness. I remember when he first came to visit us at the HeartMath Institute, and he saw the changes in the heart rate variability, heart rhythm pattern as emotional state changed. He, like myself and so many others, when we first saw that, was just amazed that we could self-regulate what's going on in our heart, and that it affected our ability to be present, mindful, that it was so key. And so, we've partnered with him in research, and, he's developed a lot of wonderful work. His new book is all about his, how his view of consciousness. And so there's so many people who are doing wonderful work, because that's their blueprint or their piece of the puzzle, so to speak. We all have different pieces of this tapestry of human potential. And so Dan's work is fantastic. He loves HeartMath's work. We collaborate. And I think that's just like Humanity's team doing wonderful work, HeartMath Institute and HeartMath Incorporated doing wonderful work. How do we collaborate and co-create? Because that really is to impact enough people on this planet to shift the trajectory of this global stress state. And stress momentum is going to take empowering the collective heart, co-creating from all of our different backgrounds, where we come together in the heart, but people have different ways of learning and growing. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so true. And of course, this is with this Wednesday broadcast, this is what we do. And thank you for coming on, Deborah, and Greg, and Nassim, and Neil, and Michael Beckwith, and all of these various others. We have so many partners, and others. There are many that what we call diamonds that are really fabulous. You were sharing of this state senator from Illinois who came in and made a great contribution in your recent program. On Humanity Stream Plus, we have hundreds of programs, and most of the authors of these programs, you actually don't know their name, but they're phenomenal. They've created these best practices, these video trainings in body practices, in spiritual practices, so many things. And yet you don't know their name. So we try to, we kind of look at it as a salad bowl of, how can we just bring as many of these leaders together, like yourself, Deborah, that are doing incredible work that are pointed, we're all pointed toward the same North Star. You know, our words are a little different, but we can see that there's a sustainable, flourishing humanity and Earth that's off in the distance, and we just need to journey to it. And, you know, whereas we share these best practices, like what you, this research you're developing there in Boulder Creek, HeartMath, it's adding to, you know, this is your genius. And Barbara Marx Hubbard liked to say we needed to all get together and share our genius. This is your genius. And many of these icons, Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden among them, base a lot of their research on what you guys generate, your research there. So it's fabulous, very leading edge. And you might even talk about briefly, just, I know you were sharing, you've got technologies that are coming, new programs coming, if you want to share a little bit about those, Deborah.
Oh, what we want to do, what's needed is personal coherence, social coherence, global coherence. How do we enhance each of those levels? Personal coherence is taking energetic personal responsibility, and we're taking all the 20 years of HeartMath techniques, tools, training programs. We have thousands of certified HeartMath health professionals, coaches, mentors, workshop trainers who teach a basic skill set of the HeartMath system. And it's all focused on what unites us in the physics of the world, which is heart rhythm coherence. We're all connected in the heart. We have different brains and minds, beautiful, different beliefs, different backgrounds, different cultures, but we're the same in the heart, the same feelings and needs. So if we can see, wow, there's a baseline that for all of humanity to be in resonance with nature and life, called heart coherence. And that's what all these people who build on HeartMath research understand. And if we can expand our personal coherence and radiation, our broadcast of love, our replacement of impatience and anger and frustration and all of the incoherent stress waves that we put out, when we feel them, they're information, time for us to get back to balance. So we create a technology called the Inner Balance Heart Coherence technology that helps us, guides us through our iPhone app or iPad to get back into that heart rhythm state. Now, there's a new app called the Global Coherence app that's free. It works with the Inner Balance technology. Put it on your ear, you plug in, and there you can create groups, family, church groups, social groups, where everybody can practice doing this together and getting what's the collective coherence score. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world, your group. That's really exciting. And we want to build on that. And then there's global coherence, where there's a map and you can see who's wherever in the globe doing this at the same time. And then we put out care focuses that Dr. Childrey and I write every few months that people can use as a guide, that we all do these synchronized heart meditations together on a theme, whether it's the war in Ukraine, sending compassion there, or having a collective heart intention to lift the spirit of humanity and ourselves. And we're going to be taking the 20 years of HeartMath content and training programs and putting them into, with a millennial and Gen Z advisory team, into bite-sized chunks so that we can reach the younger people who really live on their screens and want quick, fast-acting tools, you know, which the HeartMath tools can be in like 10-minute chunks of learning. So we're working on all that. We're working on new sensor technology with higher sample rates, so it can be even more refined in how you train yourself to shift into a new baseline of coherence, which has already been shown in research to facilitate anti-aging, to facilitate so many health issues that happen because of the stress accumulation. How to clear that, and heart coherence helps clear that accumulated stress. I could go on, but we will be bringing out new things. But right now, people can go to the App Store and download, or the Google Play Store, download the Global Coherence app and start playing with it. But more is coming. And again, our goal is do this with each other. You know, if HeartMath's here to facilitate humanities team, and all these different wonderful processes that people have. And how do we know that it's really about the heart math inside yourself?
Yeah, boy, and of course, you and I have been really emphasizing the importance of this, and I'm sure for viewers too, we can all remember back when it was more of a thinking thing. You know, I used to, in the 90s, I had a time management system that was boy, that was my whole day. You know, in the early 90s, I'd come into Monday. I was the CEO of these small companies that we were growing, and I'd have 50 tasks and things. And there in 95, was when I realized, oh my gosh, I have to throw away my time, my time management system. Not everybody needs to do this, incidentally. This is just me, but I said, oh my gosh, I have to throw this thing away, because this whole heart-to-heart thing, what we're talking about, what we're calling heart coherence here, or conscious living, where we're just really connected, listening to each other, really tuning in, I couldn't do that with the time management system. I thought I was going to crash my company, throwing it away. And you know what happened? That company, boy, we were already growing fast, and man, did we hit the warp speed button, which makes sense, right? Where you're there in any capacity, really listening with people, really in a connected state, and then where you're there with nature, in your own silence, in your own office space at home, etc. Oh my gosh, you're going to feel so much better, and you're so much more effective.
Yeah.
Where we're just getting into this mental task mode, and into the flow of really, really creating together. So here's a question for you, Deborah. So this is from Connie. She says, on my Facebook open community page, I take time to post solutions and creative ideas, and I'm blown away how much negativity is posted about ways we can save the planet, be kinder, simple things people can do to make a difference. I'm shocked on a daily basis of how many people are hypercritical of possible solutions. Suggestions, ? I'm all ears for solutions, both for the commenters and for me, so I don't get so discouraged. Thank you in advance.
Yeah, well, if you look at what's happening in the world and the polarization politically and the social media, the negativity builds on itself, and there's a certain charge people get out of all that. But it shuts down the higher brain centers. That's what research is showing, that anger and frustration and stress puts the body into the stress reaction of fight, flight, and it actually inhibits bigger picture thinking. So you can't see solutions. So having compassion for people who are stuck in that because they can't see differently. That's where you see what's happening in the Senate floor and then politics everywhere, because people are stuck in their mind stances rather than taking a heart stand, which is what this HeartMath certified trainer, Dr. Patricia Van Pelt, who's an Illinois state senator, talked about how she had to turn around her judgment and separation in the polarization of the Senate and actually begin to put out care and compassion and non-judgment, and how that actually opened the senators' other people's hearts to really listen, to really communicate. So we have a responsibility to do that. That is the only thing that I can see that's going to turn around this huge separation, is when we actually don't judge it, don't get frustrated by it, don't let it go into our lower reactivity, or it will be triggered, but that's okay. How do you turn it around and understand consciously what's going on, and then put out the non-judgment, the compassion, the kindness? It's not so much about preaching it to the people who think that's just Sunday school or doesn't work. It's about living it. And as you live it and you put that out, you start to magnetize different experiences in your life. You start to get into different flows. You start to be able to make a different level of impact. And that's when it turns into adventure. Just like Steve, you were saying, your time management company turned different. You couldn't have known that, but you connected in with a different flow. That's really cool and exciting. And that's what happens as people begin to replace stress emotions with heart qualities. In the moment, it's really game on time to do that and not just think it or philosophize it, and watch how you're recreating your reality. You're partnering with the universal rhythms to start to magnetize different experiences that are rewarding. Sure, there's still challenges and learning and growing, but you start to see the adventure, the potential of the next dimension. And that is what's going to help reinforce, wow, I want to put out more love. I want to put out more compassion. I don't want to get hooked into all this negativity. You raise your vibration and you're broadcasting more coherence into the field. That really does help others. It helps reduce stress and strain, because the people who are venting on social media or in our political discourse or in families, they are really suffering. They're in pain or fear or anger, or they don't have any hope. And it's not through the mind explaining or rationalizing that's going to give hope. It doesn't work anymore. It's got to be through the field, through the heart connection and patience, and your example.
Yeah, boy, well, so true. Deborah, a little thing in my neighborhood, I like to walk my dog around morning and evening. And one time back several months ago, I was walking her, and dogs will stop and kind of pee in a lawn or around a tree or a bush or something. And she was peeing on a lawn. And the person was in their backyard and I guess saw this and came out, and he was quite upset and said, yelled, don't do that. And I was with my son, who got all agitated, and it was a good learning moment, because I said, my son's name is Dylan. And I said, Dylan, imagine what kind of day, or evening before, or life, that, what might be going on here that would cause somebody to be so challenged. So, I mean, we don't want to come back, with some ugly statement. We want to, look with compassion here at this person, because we're enjoying our life and this person is obviously having a hard time. So yes, I'm right there with you. So let's go look at another video clip here. This is Science of Self-Empowerment. Again, this amazing program. This was the first of our masterclasses that just really took off and soared to the stars and back. It's called Science of Self-Empowerment. Deborah Rozman, Howard Martin, both from HeartMath, Bruce Lipton, and Greg Braden. So we're going to go, and it's on the Humanity Stream Plus platform. It's 24 modules, just totally amazing, and gets into all of the things we're talking about in great detail, with immersion exercises, homework exercises, et cetera, et cetera. Let's go look at a clip, and then Deborah and I are going to come back and talk about it.
We mean that we can feel an energy coming off of someone. And when someone is loving, caring, kind, compassionate, we actually feel that energetic connection, and it can uplift us. We can walk into a room where there's been a loving, caring, dynamic speaker, and we can feel uplifted just by the energy in the room and how it's affecting each other. And we can walk into a room where maybe there's two people facing the other way, but there's something in the room that's so thick, we feel like we can cut it with a knife, and we wonder what's going on. Have they been arguing? And indeed they had. So part of the physiology that's happening in this energetic connectivity is that with each beat of our heart, the heart is putting out 2.5 watts of power, and it is radiating through an electromagnetic field. It's actually creating that field and radiating that field. So every cell of our body receives the heartbeat. We can pick up our pulse from our big toe, our earlobe, anywhere. What we may not understand or have made the connection yet is that our heart rhythm pattern is also being broadcast. So that pattern, think of it like a radio transmitter that's being broadcast from our heart with the frequency of our heart rhythm pattern. Could be a very incoherent frequency if we've been feeling frustrated or angry. And that radio station, like tuning our radio dial into that incoherence, can create those stress vibes, those stress waves that go outside of our body, and in fact have been measured with magnetometers 3 feet, 5 feet away from the body. And when we are in heart rhythm coherence, we are actually broadcasting that waveform to every cell of our body and outside the body. So love, care, appreciation, gratitude radiates out from our heart. It's broadcast, just like we were a radio station broadcasting a particular program of love, of gratitude, of appreciation.
Okay, and this science, this research from HeartMath, again, is so powerful. They're right at the center of this whole, we talk about our heart rhythms and our global heart coherence. They are the ones, on the planet that are doing the research and broadcasting it out and training people all over the world. It's just astounding. Now, I'll just share, Steve Jobs, one of his famous quotes is he says, at Apple, we believe that education is the most powerful tool for changing the world. And we're going and looking at these clips and talking about education because this is the center of our work as we talk about making conscious living pervasive worldwide by 2040. We're just gathering up all of these best practices in conscious living, and this global heart coherence science is really, really important, and which is why I'm so thrilled to have Deborah with me here today. So. Deborah, that was another one where we just dove right in, very surgically and went at some really important data there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, again, I back in the 70s, the story similar to yours, I wrote the first book based upon my PhD thesis, which I did in public schools on meditating with children. And it was another one, meditation for children too. They became bestsellers. And I would go around speaking about them. But again, because of my own yoga training, I had all the meditations on the third eye. And when I discovered the heart, the next edition of that book, I switched all the points of focus to the heart. I switched all the meditations because I realized that this is limited if this isn't open. The heart and heart opening and being able to process our frustrations, our hurts, our angers, for children to learn how all that can be self-regulated, not repressed or vented, but regulated, managed, and processed through the heart, to be able to create a different signal between the heart and the brain so they can see, I can take charge of myself. I don't have to let this bully get to me, or all the things children deal with these days. The huge stresses of their parents and the world around them really is affecting kids dramatically. The mental health issues of adults, mental health issues of kids, they need these tools. And every tool that I have discovered since that's effective is all some way or another connecting with the heart. And whether it's a tool of forgiveness, a tool of kindness, a tool of pay it forward, a tool of you name it, conscious living tool has got to involve the feelings of the heart. And life on this planet would be so dull if we didn't feel. I mean, it's about feeling, and it's about knowing what to do with those feelings that are hurtful or painful. And it's not repressing them, it's learning how to understand what they mean for us and transforming them. And so that is, to me, the next level human evolution. And I'm dedicated in my life and everybody here at HeartMath to understanding how we can facilitate you, but also all the other groups to come together in a coherent strategy to be more effective for the wholeness.
Yeah, boy, well, there's no question, but that if this is the age of consciousness, and I believe it is, that this is just vital. This message is vital because, again, going back to kind of early school days, I'm guessing I'm not the only one, you'd think about the heart and, oh yeah, of course there's a pump, right? There's
Right.
the pump in the body. That's the heart, right? This is how we grew up. So what we're talking about here, oh my God, now the dashboard, we used to think of the mind, right? And so creating tasks and mental, emotional, work, that this was our journey. So this is really deconstructing the whole thing, and saying that no, heart and soul, its base is here, dashboard is here, and that we actually can, this non-local intelligence we can get from here, right? Because we're all one. There's no separation, which means that where we get connected with this whole universal intelligence or universal consciousness, which is based here, then this omniscience thing and omnipotence thing works. And we feel the omnipresence. All of that dashboard is here. It is heart-based. So we're just turning the world on its head. And of course, those of us on the conscious journey have heard this, get this. We're deepening our understanding through programs like this, where Deborah, you're talking about these are our new programs, new tools, new processes, etc. We're deepening into it. But boy, I'll bet in the next 10 years, worldwide, this notion of heart as pump and all of mental, emotional journey, and that the whole world is going to be stood on its head here, in terms of coming into new processes for living in this age of consciousness.
That's right. And it's not just a metaphor stood on its head. It's like turning what's been upside down, right side up.
Yeah.
With the heart, not just the poetic heart or the philosophical heart or the religious heart. We're all trying to tune into that, but bringing together the physical heart and the energetic heart that we all know is where our center of being is. You ask a child, I've done this in classrooms, where do you live? Where's your center? They point here. They don't point up here. And so that is where we are all connected, and you feel it. That's where it's not a conceptual thing. That only goes so far. The power is in the feeling, the intelligence is in the heart feeling. That's what we call our latest book, Heart Intelligence, connecting with the intuitive guidance of the heart. That's where you get the mind enlightened to give you the intuitive directions, the GPS for your life. And so it's just a wonderful place we're embarking on in the next journey we call conscious living, but we have to do it together. It's designed that way. The blueprint is that way. And that's exciting because we're here to be with each other, to care for each other. That's why we're here, to love each other. Otherwise, we wouldn't need people. We would just need one. But to discover that oneness in each other and respect, honor that is exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the beautiful thing. Of course, in this whole global heart coherence and conscious living, we do, the science is saying that there is only one presence. There's this diversity, 8 billion faces, of the one, incredible diversity, but there is just one. There's no plural in consciousness. There's only singular. We're all faces of it. Where we live into that, again, is such a beautiful thing. And it brings us into, this beautiful heart rhythm of love, of compassion, of natural connection, all of these things. But we're out of time. I mean, I said at the beginning of the hour, this was going to go fast. It was going to be important. We were going to have fun. I know I sure have. And boy, it was very important. Thank you for taking us through your latest research, your the directions for HeartMath Institute, HeartMath Inc. Also, just to say this, you and Howard, who have been the two people from HeartMath that are mostly part of our programs, you both live it so beautifully, and you've been here over the years. You can tell you've created a culture there at HeartMath, which is what you all, what your research is. So, and that's beautiful. So just such a pleasure to have you with us, Deborah. Thank you. And just, do you want to share one more time where people can go to get the latest research and on tools, et cetera, for HeartMath?
Yes, go to heartmath.org and explore. And you can go to heartmath.org/GCI, and you can learn about the research, the latest research, and go to your a Google Play Store or Apple App Store and download for free the Global Coherence app. And you can order from heartmath.com or heartmath.org the sensor. And it really does show you what's going on in your own heart rhythm and trains you. We call it the inner balance trainer, to make that shift so that you're not just thinking you're in the heart, but you know when you're there, and train yourself to be there more and see how it awakens your higher mind. So lots to explore. I'm honored to have been able to share all this with you. And just
Yeah, wonderful. Well, we have so much appreciated having you. We'll make sure to have you back soon. Deborah, thank you. And to HeartMath Institute, our friends in Humanity Stream, who I can see on the window that are here in the green room with us. So Humanity's team members, sign members, thank you all for spending an hour of your day with us. Let me thank also my partners and colleagues in Humanity's team. So Jim Gray, Garth Catterall are here. They're the producers. I'm not sure if they can come on camera or not, but also Andy Guski, Dee Meyer, Nanette Kennedy. So thank you to all of my partners and colleagues that make this program possible. So, and we'll be back with you next week. We're going to come back 2 hours later next week. We usually start at 9 a.m. Pacific. We're coming back at 11 a.m. Pacific next Wednesday with Suzanne Giesman, who is doing lots of, has programs, new programs coming. She's this talented medium that, boy, she had an amazing life. Used to fly around on Air Force One, and now she's doing the work that she's doing as a medium, teaching people to raise the veil and to be with loved ones and guides and things from the other side. Okay, so thanks everybody. Thank you, Deborah, and namaste, everybody. Have a fabulous rest of the day and week, and we'll see you next week. Take care.